hurt. So sometimes you just need a second to give yourself a second. If you ever sprain your ankle, it just kind of stings for a little bit. So I was good. They're like, you want to go in the back? I'm like, no.
What if I told you the basketball world just witnessed a comeback story so wild, so improbable, it'll make your jaw drop and question everything you thought you knew about the WNBA? Picture this. Your favorite team, stripped of its biggest star, abandoned by a key veteran, and facing the league's undisputed Goliath on their home court.
And then, obviously, adrenaline covers up a lot of stuff when you're in the heat of battle. And after the game, I had some pain, and then got an MRI, and that kind of gave me.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? Well, for the Indiana Fever, it was the perfect setup for their first ever Commissioner's Cup championship. They didn't just win, they dominated the mighty Minnesota Lynx, proving that heart, hustle, and a whole lot of grit can rewrite any script. And what did their sideline superstar, Caitlin Clark, say after the dust settled? Just 6 words that perfectly encapsulated the entire dramatic saga. Guys, I just know everybody in the league is sick. We'll get to that moment and why it's sending shockwaves through the league.
So to be a part of that and to come here was, a perfect place for me. So I'm just very lucky and fortunate.
How did you guys make that final?
But first, let's rewind and truly appreciate the sheer audacity of this victory. If you got that fever, comment, "I've got the fever" right now. Let's go. Imagine the scene. The Indiana Fever walking into the Target Center for their inaugural Commissioner's Cup final. Their roster resembling a MASH unit. Their magnetic superstar, Caitlin Clark, the very reason arenas across the country are packed, was relegated to the bench for the 3rd straight game, battling a stubborn groin injury. This wasn't just any player. This was their leading scorer, their assist queen, their offensive engine. Without her, the team often looked like a ship without a rudder. Her absence alone was a gut punch, but the hits kept coming. Dejounte Carrington was thousands of miles away, representing her country in the FIBA Ameri Cup, leaving another gaping hole in the rotation. And then the absolute shocker, Damaris Dantas, the veteran forward brought in during the offseason for her experience and leadership, shockingly quit on the team after just 9 games and was subsequently waived. Talk about abandoning ship when your teammates needed you most. This wasn't just a player leaving, it was a veteran who, by her actions, seemed to teach the young squad a twisted lesson. If things get tough, just refuse to show up and keep collecting that max contract. She got benched, couldn't handle the criticism, and decided she wanted out. And who were they facing in this seemingly insurmountable final? The Minnesota Lynx. Let's be clear, they weren't just good, they were dominant. With a staggering 14-win for loss record, they were the best team in the entire WNBA, the defending Commissioner's Cup champions, and playing on their home court. Their MVP frontrunner, Napheesa Collier, was playing at an elite level. The sold-out crowd was absolutely electric, buzzing with anticipation for a repeat performance. Las Vegas had the Lynx favored by a monumental 14 points. 14 points. The basketball world had already written the Fever's obituary before tip-off. Analysts were openly discussing how this would be a blowout, how Indiana had no business sharing the court with Minnesota without their best players. They looked flawless, more connected, a team flowing, making music on offense. The Fever were David facing Goliath, except David showed up with a broken slingshot and half his army had already bailed.
Mission. Obviously, I could not be there tonight. I'm a little bit busy in Indianapolis, but this award means a lot, not only to myself, but to my teammates and coaches that I had at the University of Iowa.
And not in a good way. They had stumbled, losing 3 of their last 5 games, often squandering double-digit leads that should have been easy wins. Their offensive pace had slowed to a crawl, killing the very rhythm that made them so dangerous. The crisp ball movement that defined their best moments simply vanished. Instead of trusting each other, players started resorting to hero ball, forcing contested shots and trying to do everything themselves. This wasn't the exciting Fever team that had captivated fans all season. One of their most potent weapons, Aaliyah Boston, was visibly frustrated. She thrives dominating in the paint, but her teammates weren't finding her. She'd establish prime position down low, call for the ball, only to watch guards launch ill-advised shots from the perimeter. The team's identity seemed to evaporate without Clark, who wasn't just scoring and assisting. She was a floor general orchestrating the offense, ensuring everyone touched the ball. Without her, they looked lost on both ends. Opponents knew they could now focus all their defensive energy on stopping Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, free from the worry of Clark dissecting their schemes. As Coach Stephanie White put it, they needed to take another step towards growth, another step towards consistency. This Commissioner's Cup game wasn't just a final, it was a moment of truth. Could they rediscover their chemistry without their superstar? Could they figure out how to play winning basketball as a cohesive unit? The struggle made what happened next even more unbelievable. From the opening tip, you could feel it, a palpable shift in the air. The Indiana Fever, counted out, dismissed, and seemingly destined for failure, decided to write their own story. This wasn't the struggling team from recent weeks. They came out firing on all cylinders, playing with an intensity and purpose that screamed, "We're here to win one for our injured superstar." Kelsey Mitchell stepped into the spotlight and absolutely took over when it mattered most. She drove to the basket with ferocity, displaying her offensive brilliance from the first quarter. Mitchell worked tirelessly to get open beyond the arc, draining shots with an incredible 41% accuracy from three-point range. Her lightning-quick release became a weapon the Lynx simply couldn't contain. She wasn't forcing anything. She was playing her game at the highest level, cool, calm, and collected. And then Aaliyah Boston. Finally, she got the ball in her spots and dominated like everyone knew she could. She finished with a monstrous double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Boston went toe-to-toe with all-star Nafisa Collier and more than held her own. After the game, a confident Boston declared, "Everyone is important. I think everyone really played their role. We really handled that fourth quarter." The confidence was radiating off her. But the true revelation, the MVP performance that changed the entire game, came from Natasha Howard. Howard earned Commissioner's Cup MVP honors with an astounding 16 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. She was a force on both ends, consistently finding cutting teammates like Ari McDonald for easy buckets and showcasing ice in her veins by going 8 for 8 from the free throw line. As a former Defensive Player of the Year, Howard's defensive intensity was suffocating. She guarded Nafisa Collier tirelessly, limiting her to tough shots and forcing 5 crucial turnovers. When she picked off a pass and raced down the court for an uncontested layup, the target center, once roaring, fell eerily silent. That moment was pure poetry. The bench provided crucial sparks too. Sophie Cunningham brought the fire, delivering 13 points and 7 rebounds, including 3 clutch three-pointers that helped the Fever rally from an early deficit. New signing Arella Ari McDonald made an immediate impact, contributing 12 points and providing exactly the jolt the team needed. And Lexi Hull stepped up with huge contributions, proving she belongs on this stage. It was a joint effort, a symphony of teamwork. The ball movement was crisp, the defense suffocating. They held the dominant Minnesota Lynx to just 39 points over the final 3 quarters and a paltry 34.9% shooting for the game. When the Lynx tried to claw back in the fourth quarter, cutting the lead to 7 and forcing a timeout, the Fever responded instantly with back-to-back baskets from Boston and another from McDonald. They slammed the door shut, refusing to allow Minnesota even a glimmer of hope. The final score, 74-59. The underdogs, the team everyone had written off, had done the impossible. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. It was a declaration that heart and determination can conquer any obstacle, any injury, any desertion. And then Caitlin Clark delivered the perfect post-game mic drop. Despite being sidelined, Clark was a constant, visible, and vocal presence throughout the final. She cheered, offered advice, and was fully engaged, proving her dedication to the team. The WNBA social media account captured her focused demeanor, showing her commitment even when unable to play. Everyone was waiting to hear what she'd say about this incredible upset. The anticipation built as cameras followed the team into the locker room for their raucous celebration. And then, pure gold, amidst the chaos, the confetti, and the pure euphoria, Clark, with a sly grin, held up the Commissioner's Cup trophy like a celebratory chalice and declared, "Guys, I just know everybody in the league is sick. Everybody in the league is sick." Those 6 words cut straight to the heart of everything. Clark, with her signature blend of confidence and candor, perfectly articulated what many had whispered but few dared to say aloud: the simmering jealousy problem within the WNBA. All season, the narrative had been building, the perceived resentment from some quarters towards Clark, and the unprecedented attention she brings. With those 6 words, she called it out directly, playfully, but undeniably. The locker room exploded with even more energy. Clark was captured playfully calling out teammates, including rookie Michaela Timpson, to join the festivities. This light-hearted moment reinforced her role as a supportive and engaged leader, even in injury. This team embraced their us-against-the-world mentality, and it carried them to victory. The media's pre-game expectations were completely shattered. ESPN, hilariously, had even pre-scheduled a video titled Lynx Dominate Fever to win Commissioner's Cup that they had to quickly change after the game. That tells you everything about how shocking this outcome was. To their credit, the Minnesota Lynx showed real class and defeat, with head coach Cheryl Reeve admitting they just sort of beat US, acknowledging the sheer strength and execution of the Indiana team. You're looking at a Fever team that just proved they're built for 2025 and beyond. They showed the depth, the heart, and the character to win, even without their biggest star. When Caitlin Clark returns healthy, this team becomes absolutely dangerous. This victory was more than just a game. It was a statement about overcoming adversity, about silencing the critics, and about proving that when everyone counts you out, when key players abandon you, when injuries pile up, true champions find a way to rise above it all. The Indiana Fever just showed the entire WNBA what happens when you count out a team with unwavering heart and relentless determination. They proved that championship DNA runs deeper than any single player. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Arella McDonald, Lexi Hall, and the entire roster stepped up when it mattered most. This victory is a blazing testament that 2025 is going to be special for this group. They now know they can win without Caitlin Clark, which makes them even more terrifying with her back on the court. If you support the Fever, comment "I've got the Fever" down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to World Hoops, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. Click the video on your screen right now for more electrifying WNBA content. And we'll see you in the next one.